Hello, and welcome to your Saturn series. It is my honor to be coming to you guys today to talk to you about the planet Saturn in astrology. And what do you know? Here Saturn is right here. Oh, shoot. Hello, Saturn. So, yes, we have a hieroglyph. I don't know really what we would call this, but my little planet Saturn is with us here. So of course, I'm going to have a little intro video in the beginning of all these. Let's make sure I'm, Saturn material. And let me tell you, before these videos, woo, I can feel the Saturn energy. Like, I guess we'll just get talking about it, guys. So, well, just a little fun fact. I am actually, I would say, a pretty important advocate of Saturn because I have a Capricorn rising, so that makes me very Saturnian ruled. And also, I'm just going to mute my computer so we don't have any distractions. And I have Saturn on my sun. So in astrology, sometimes we will have planets conjunct certain signs, right? And so for me, I was just lucky enough to be born with my sun in Pisces at 14 degrees. And what do you know? Saturn at 14 degrees Pisces as well. So I just couldn't let Saturn change signs without me talking about how just fabulous he is, right, guys? So this is some channeled messages. I'm just going to be channeling today. I have some notes here, though. I do have some notes just so everything can stay structured and timely and things like that. So let's get into a little bit about what Saturn represents and stands for in astrology, and then we can get into what Saturn's most recent shift into Capricorn is going to be affecting you personally by your sign, your astrology sign. So Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, right? Capricorn is the 10th house in astrology. So that has everything to do with our career, our legacies, our long distance goals. So I would say when it comes to career and when it comes to our long distance goals and when it comes to our legacies, that's a very serious, part of the chart. The 10th house is also our midheaven. So our midheaven in astrology is symbolic for, well, our career, of course, but more so the direction in life that we need to go. Okay, so it's interesting to compare the midheaven to the north node because the midheaven is kind of like a mini north node in our astrology charts. And according to the midheaven, you can determine what your astrological boss is because the 10th house is the house of bosses and authority figures. So when we talk about the 10th house, you guys, we're also talking about Saturn. We're also talking about Capricorn. These energies all go together. They all bounce from each other, So when we think of Capricorn and we think of the mountain goat and the sea goat and how ambitious these signs are, Capricorn is actually one of the most misunderstood zodiac signs. They're very, very mysterious. Very, very mysterious. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they're ruled by such an interesting planet. And it's not only interesting, it's just everybody wants to avoid Saturn. Like, it's not nothing to play around with. Saturn gets a bad rep. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys in these videos. And this is just my opinion. There's a lot of different, oh yeah, I got my little Saturn necklace, you guys, if anybody just saw that. I wanted to really make this symbolic for us here today. So, as I was saying, I'm going to do my best to interpret Saturn. And, since I have Saturn on my sun and since I have a Capricorn rising, I'm very, very Saturnian ruled, and I'm going to do my best to explain the good, explain the bad, explain the pretty, the ugly, and everything in between. So, Saturn. We haven't even talked about the fact that Saturn is the lord of karma. Okay, so Saturn, when I think of Saturn, I think about karma. And it's interesting that Saturn has these rings, right, that go around it because what goes around comes around, right? And that is a famous saying that is related to karma. So, it's basically you reap what you sow, you know what I mean? And I'm a very, very advocate for that. I very much believe in that people, get what they deserve, whether it be good or bad. So yes, Lord of Karma, Saturn is, I like to think of Saturn as a military dad. So, and not just a military dad, but a very serious father figure, right? Saturn is a very serious planet. Everything has to be serious. Everything has to be constricted. So serious that I'm gonna put this incense out after I let you guys have a little bit of the energy, I guess. But yeah, anything like that. Like, for instance, when I first started to sit down to record these videos, my computer was updating. And I hate when my computer does that because it takes so long and I'm just on a time limit today. So I just sat here for, oh my God, it took so long for my computer to update. And it was so funny to me because I'm like, Saturn, what you doing, man? What are you doing? Like, I'm trying to record your videos, So, yeah, I felt that was kind of, I think everything's a sign. So that was just kind of funny, to go through that. So yes, very serious planet that rules restrictions. Saturn is all about limitations. Okay, these are the more harsher terms. Saturn is about rules, regulations, doing everything in a timely manner, right? Saturn, it's like amazing. Like, and if you think of Saturn, and then Capricorns are Saturnian ruled people. So, the Capricorns I know, very hardworking. I'm like, how did you clean your house, go to work, pick up your dog, mow the lawn, solve world hunger, and you look fabulous? Like, how do you do that? So, shout out to the Capricorns watching. It's your energy. And, I'm a Capricorn rising, so my spirit is Capricorn, and I come off like a Capricorn, but I'm a Pisces. So, that's just an energy there. But Capricorn sun signs, they work really hard, very ambitious people, all about their goals, and actually they're a lot about respect as well, right? So when you think of Saturn as well, you have to think of respect and authority, So when it comes to authority figures, which is anybody in a uniform, the military, police officers, anything like that, that would be a Saturnian ruled figure. And I think of Saturn as a military dad, to the point where you could clean your room spick and span, and Saturn will wipe his finger on the desk and see just a little bit of dirt. I actually do have dirt on my desk, so sorry, Saturn, but he'll be like, you do it again. It wasn't right. You did it 30 seconds later than I wanted. That's not right. Now, let's get in a little bit before my intro ends here. I wanted to end it on a more positive note, because Saturn, when you think of, and I know there's some of you watching who actually did grow up, some of us had authoritarian parents. I had an Aquarius mom, and that's so ironic because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn also rules Capricorn. So I guess, guys, when we're talking about these videos, when we're listening to this video, when we're hearing these messages today, we want to think about Aquarius and Capricorn, right? So it's interesting that Saturn is most at home in the 10th house, legacy, career, long-term goals, and also in the 11th house, which is groups of people, right? There is karma involved in groups of people, our community, our humanitarian, what we do to serve our community and the groups of people we associate with. So there is karma involved in that as well. So as I was saying, some of you who are watching, you may have grown up with an authoritarian parent, and this doesn't have to be a Capricorn or Aquarius. This could be any parent, because we all have different energy, right? This could be any parent that was just really strict. So I think strict is a good word to call Saturn. So I'm going to put that here just so I can remember that. Strict. Saturn is really strict. And okay, we're going to get into the more positive here, because where I was going with that is that, at the time, when all these people are hard on us and, oh, clean it twice and don't do this and don't do that and don't do this, at the time it fucking sucks. We grow to hate these people. Saturn is a pretty hated planet, unfortunately. But throughout life we find ourselves oddly thanking these people, right? And we hate it. We hate to admit that. But it's the people who showed us structure, the people who showed us limitations and responsibility and hard work ethic. It's like going to the military when you're talking about Saturn. And it's because Saturn symbolizes, and Saturn is aware of what you do now is going to come back around to you. So if you put in the hard work now, if you're responsible now, if you work hard now, whatever you do now, it's important because it's your then. Your now is your then. Your now is your later. And that's a very Saturnian energy. So it's important, that we have these energies, because a lot of planets, and I have to say it, Neptune is one of those planets that don't really have this kind of energy. Neptune's like, chill. It'll happen when it happens, like, just do it whatever you want. It's okay that you were an hour late. It was meant to be, like water signs and water planets are, I would say, they lack boundaries. Okay, I love water. I'm a water sign. I love water. I'm all about water. But water takes the shape of its container, right? Water takes the shape of its container. And that's my little water spell that I did for the Cancer moon there. But yeah, water if you pour water into a square container, the water is going to look square, right? Water is also reflecting. So, that's a whole different story there. That's my little joke there to tell you that there's some planets that every planet, here's how I'll say this. Every planet has its duty. Every planet has its job and its position and everything like that. It has what it stands for. Every planet is symbolic for something, right? Neptune, the dream world, fantasy, illusion sometimes, Well, Saturn is actually the opposite of what you would think when you think Jupiter. And that's interesting because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius comes right before Capricorn. So Jupiter, and even the symbols, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see the symbol it's kind of dark, so I won't show it there. But just go ahead and look up the Saturn symbol, and then you can look at the Jupiter symbol, and they're kind of inverted, like it's to show you how opposite these signs are. So Jupiter is basically the opposite of the planet Saturn. Jupiter is all about expanding. It's all about making, it's the biggest planet in our solar system. So it's about expansion. It's about the higher knowledge of things, the deeper meaning, broadening your intellect and your philosophy, your teaching, learning, all that kind of stuff right there. And I'm talking about that because Saturn just got out of Sagittarius. So, Saturn being in Sagittarius, that was a very oxymoron. That was a really push and pull energy because, well, I think Saturn, I can channel Saturn, and I feel like Saturn for the past 3 years actually took a break. Like, deuces, you guys can handle your own karma. I'm going in Sagittarius where I'm going to party and put my feet up. But when I come back in 2008, if you didn't do the things that I taught you, Saturn in Scorpio, if you didn't do the things I taught you, Saturn in Libra, boy, am I going to come down hard on you. And Saturn in Capricorn, this is home, okay? Saturn is home. He's in Capricorn. And it's interesting because in 3 years, when Saturn moves into Aquarius, Saturn is home. I would say Saturn is more home in Capricorn. This grounded, quick, on its feet energy. Capricorns, they don't care. They don't have, I'm not saying Capricorns don't feel, but they don't feel as much as a water sign does. Because let me tell you, sometimes if I don't feel good enough to do something, my Capricorn rising completely gets thrown to the side. It's like, I don't feel like it. The energy today is just a little bit rough. I don't really feel like it. And then that's my emotions. I make emotional decisions. Now, Saturn is at home in the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius because those signs get shit done. They're responsible. Aquarius they're very futuristic thinking signs. So Saturn's all about your long-term goals. So it likes Aquarius. Aquarius thinks about the future. Aquarius is the star card where you're pouring from this end and you're pouring from that end. And it's interesting that Capricorn is the devil card, so that's a whole different story. I might have to do an entirely different video. Actually, I am doing kind of I'm going to be talking about the devil card and the real meaning of the devil card before Capricorn season ends. I'm going to do that a little bit towards the end of Capricorn season. That way I have a lot of energy to work with. But yeah, guys, Saturn. Okay, this is my intro video, trying to make it as structured as I can, but at the same time, I'm a Pisces, Taurus, Capricorn mix. So, this is just me being real. So I hope you're learning, and yeah, I think you'll learn more in the videos that are about your personal sign. So restrictions, limitations, boundaries. Well, but I would say boundaries is more of the positive side, right? That's why I went into that detail about water taking the shape of its glass, because water can lack boundaries sometimes. Water actually needs a foundation to have a shape, right? Water shapes us in astrology. So, you know, the good part about Saturn is that it teaches us self-control. It teaches us boundaries and limits and structure. You know, we do need those things in life, guys. So I'm glad that we have an energy in the universe that is an asshole enough to do that without caring about how we feel, right? Because sometimes we just have to get things done. This is our karma we're talking about here. When we're done with this realm, you know, we carry that with us. So Saturn is actually an energy that stays with us. Like, what do you think about this come around, go around thing? I love cycles. So Saturn works in a cycle, and it's a cycle that you create before, during, and after life. So Saturn's an energy. I feel like Saturn might be the first energy that you see when you pass on. Like, what'd you do? What'd you do with your life on Earth, huh? Did you do this? Did you do that? How long did it take you? Oh, well, you know that you're gonna have, like, the reason Saturn is so serious is because he knows that whatever you did, you will face again. So you want to just be woke. You wanna pay attention to the things that are going on around this time. You know, the karma that you're producing and designing for yourself, because we're all responsible for our own karma. And then we can get into the whole story about how you can actually affect other people's karma, which is, ooh, the karma for that is a beast. So Saturn is a very, very, very interesting energy, and I'm honored to talk to you guys today about what Saturn is going to be doing. So responsibilities, commitments, authority figures, teachers. It's a masculine energy, so Saturn actually rules our fathers. Saturn is discipline, and we talked about Saturn being rules and regulation. So that is all the hard facts about Saturn. I really just kind of want to, I have notes as well for the videos that I'll be doing for your guys' personal signs. I do want to channel a bit more though. I don't really like this structured energy, you know. It makes me feel like, okay, let's check that off, when really I just do better when I flow. Okay, so just hang in there with me, guys. You're gonna feel the Saturnian energy in me a little bit, but you're also gonna see it in that creative Pisces way, and then I'm gonna ground everything with my Taurus moon. Okay, so this is my Saturn series. My intro video is way longer than what I wanted it to be. Sorry, Saturn. All right, so just learn through me that Saturn low-key secretly understands that nothing's perfect, right? Perfection is Virgo, right? Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign. Perfection is Virgo. So Capricorn secretly knows that things can't always be perfect, guys. Okay, it's just about doing your best. Okay, it's about doing your absolute best. Work hard, play hard, things like that. The balance between work and play. It's about it's about taking yourself seriously. Okay, that's what this energy is about. So as long as you do that, and if you don't fall into that, oh, I'm not good enough, I didn't do that good enough, trust me, I'm already doing it. You know, it is what it is. You know, I need the material first. So keep this in mind, guys, that when you're doing a project or when you're doing anything that needs structure or boundaries or things like that, get it there first, do it first, and then let Saturn come in and teach you, oh, well, this was too long. You talk too long about this, that. Saturn will let you know everything that is not up to par. Okay, so let's get into your personal readings, and we will see what Saturn is doing in your astrology sign. All right, guys, I'll see you in the other videos. See ya. Hey, Capricorn. Woo. So this is your Saturn video, guys, and it's very interesting to be talking to you because Saturn is your ruling planet. And I'm sure that you guys, well, if you watch astrology videos, all the hype last month was all about Saturn returning home into your sign. So when we have Saturn in Capricorn, when you have Saturn in your sign, this means that you have Saturn in your first house, okay? Also, I'm a Capricorn rising, so if you're a Capricorn rising watching this, also, you have Saturn in your first house. Now, before we continue, let me just say, all I want to say is, how do you do it? How do you guys do it? How do you do these things? How do you handle this responsibility? Because I know that what I'm experiencing is what you guys experience every day, all day, right? So the stress that I've been feeling, the limits, the responsibility, the overwhelming sense of responsibility that I've been feeling for a short amount of time, not even a month, not even a month, not even a month. You guys feel this all the time. Yeah, I just want to give you your props. I want to just, good job, you guys, for all that you handle, for you being these kind of beings in our world. You guys are very Saturn ruled. So I salute you for all the hard work that you do, because I'm getting a little bit of a taste of that. And, I will adjust. But, it really, I've been thinking about your guys' energy a lot, and it is your guys' birthday. So any of you that have been handling, that have been going through any of you that have been handling birthdays, you see Saturn, so like serious and just, it's admirable. It's admirable. But let's bring it down and get a little bit more serious here. So you have Saturn in your first house of self. The first house is all about, it's ruled by Aries, and the first house is all about you. It's all about who you are. And even if you didn't have Saturn in your first house, I will still be talking to you in this kind of way, because you guys are ruled by Saturn. So it's still very much about you, Capricorn. So all the messages we go over here today, I want you to relate it directly to who you are, right? And there's many people listening. So I'm talking to a lot of yous, I'm talking to a lot of different people. So you want to relate this and listen to your own intuition, right, Capricorn? So Saturn in the first house, your ruling planet is back home. And, some people are afraid, some people are worried, and other people are ready for karma, to be dealt and handed. So for those of you, and I do have to keep in mind, I respect your energy so much, but some of you who are watching, you're really not that familiar with astrology. So I do have to keep in mind that even though I have a sense that, Capricorns know, that's just my opinion of you. Some of you watching may very well not know. So I'm going to be careful not to skip any of the basics here, even though you guys are such old souls and you've been around the bend, right? So Saturn is the Lord of Karma, for those of you who don't know. And if you're a Capricorn watching who isn't much into astrology, you are ruled by Saturn. If you didn't watch my intro video, Saturn has everything to do with authority. Saturn has everything to do with restrictions and boundaries. And it's also about pushing yourself beyond those limits, pushing yourself beyond the restrictions and boundaries that you have, overcoming limits and insecurities and obstacles, right? So it's interesting, Capricorn, that for the next 3 years, because Saturn is a very slow moving planet, he moves around the zodiac wheel very slowly. He'll be in your sign for 3 years. And this restriction, these overcoming limits and insecurities and obstacles, will now, and even though you guys may face this all the time because Saturn is your ruling planet, but who knows where Saturn is in your birth chart. Now that Saturn is in your first house, some of you may be experiencing this for the first time if you're around my age, like 22, right? Others of you may be the older generation who may have been alive when Saturn was in Capricorn before. I was not. I have never experienced a Capricorn Saturn. So my first house is like really kicking into gear. I have not stopped thinking about what I need to do. I have a very strong sense of responsibility right now. So because I'm a Capricorn rising, so I'm very Capricornish too. And I have Saturn in Pisces directly on my sun conjunct. So I understand Saturn. And speaking of Saturn, I just wanted to show you guys your ruling planet here. How badass. We have these rings here, your ruling planet. These rings are made out of ice, right? Saturn, karma can be very cold. So Saturn, this is like dust and ice, and dust, I believe, can be metaphorical for the old karma that people feel like is no longer coming around, but it will. What goes around comes around. Karma is basically another word for the energy that you put out into the universe. Karma is a law that basically says that energy you put out will return to you because it belongs to you. So I'm sure some of you understand that, right? Now, Saturn in the first house of self, like I said, you want to relay all these messages to who you are personally, your legacy, Capricorn, your responsibility, your goals, your career, your long-term wishes and desires. Now, when someone has Saturn in the first house, you can yearn to be taken seriously. So since this has everything to do with authority, this is self-authority. We can have authority over everything. We can have authority over our relationship. We can have authority in our jobs or over our finances. But for you, Capricorn, this is less about your finances. I know you guys work very hard at what you do. You guys are very responsible people. Well, you really want to shift this authority here. You want to shift your views of authority to yourself. So, you know, when someone is working on self-authority or having authority over yourself, and this can be anything. This is so many different things, you guys. What's coming to mind right now is that a person who may be addicted, right? Saturn rules, well, Capricorn rules addictions. They rule subconscious addictions. You guys are the devil card in tarot, and that rules addictions and codependent situations and things like that. When you have self-authority, you are creating the self-authority that you need in order to not be addicted to that thing anymore. And this can be addicted to a person, addicted to a drug, addicted to a situation, or this could be addicted to, some addictions aren't actually bad for you, but addiction is repetitive. So when you have, this could be, some of you may be rising up to have the self-authority to break free from certain addictions, break free from certain toxic relationships or certain toxic things in your life. Self-authority can manifest in so many different ways, Capricorn, and it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you all to understand where it is that you're in your life that you need this authority most. It's going to have something to do directly with you, though. I can tell you that. And we're going to need to reflect a little bit on what it is that we need to, where in our life do we need more authority? Where have we been submissive, right? Because Capricorn, you're the mountain goat. You're all about reaching your goals and being responsible, right? So with that being said, you're definitely going to need self-authority. With great power comes great responsibility, right? I said that to Sagittarius in their video too. So this has everything to do with being taken seriously, and in order to be taken seriously, we have to have self-authority. We have to have authority over ourselves. We have to create our own boundaries. This is self-boundaries, self-limits, self-insecurities, obstacles that we face by ourselves. Now, this is karma that has to do with us, with you. And I say us because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm listening as well to this information. So this has karma to do with self-inflicted karma. Karma that you know, because sometimes people don't understand it, but karma can be created by others. Karma can be created by a situation. Karma can be created by an energy. But this, I'm going to focus here on the karma that has to do with you. This is what we're going to experience over the next 3 years. Karma that's coming back around. So this can be either good or bad. It depends on the kind of person that you've been up until this point. But, you know, like I said, karma is energy returning to you. So this is energy that you've put out that's going to return to you. So this is taking control over an overall sense of yourself. So, you know, when it comes to the way that you view yourself, Capricorn, it doesn't have anything to do with the ways other people view you, or the way that this person's mom or dad or cousin's sister views you. This has everything to do with how you view yourself. Okay, taking control of that, taking control of the way that you would like to be seen in the world. This is all about you, Capricorn. Your ruling planet coming back into your sign. Your birthdays come right now. Everybody's, you know, you're going through these solar returns. The sun is coming back to where it was when you were born. Very, very intense. A lot of people don't understand that Capricorn is very calm, cool, and collected on the surface. But inside, you guys could be experiencing a lot of anxiety, a lot of worries, you know. You guys work so hard all the time, every day, all day, you know, whether it's actual work or whether it's just mental or emotional or whatever. Whatever you do, you put your all into it. And you're badass, you know, you accomplish so much in one day, you know, and I'm just in awe at your energy. You're very, very, very successful. You know, you could be the lowest and brokest and most unemployed Capricorn, but by law, by energy, you are still a successful person. Your soul is still successful. And I want you to remember that, because what I've been experiencing, I've had a lot of personal things happen. It's kept me from doing these videos. I wanted to have these videos done days ago. Trust me, I've had headaches. Saturn just telling me, you know, you're not doing your videos. You know, you're supposed to be doing these videos. But I had to trust that I'm still, you know, I've had to tell myself, I am not a Capricorn. I'm just a Capricorn rising. Like, I know that Saturn's in my first house, and I know that Saturn's in my 11th house, but gosh, gee, Willikers, like, I get it. I've made lists of everything I'm responsible for. Like, okay, I got to do this, I have to do this, I have to do, and I'm naturally a list person. Maybe some of you make lists too. But you want to take a breath. If you're feeling any of that energy, I don't know if it's just me or if you guys have been feeling it. Everyone thinks Capricorn's going to handle this energy so well. But if we get in a little bit deeper with your energy, this could actually be quite some pressure coming back to you guys. The pressure of self, you know. Some of you are very exterior people. So you handle work, you handle family, you handle goals, you handle responsibility well. Some of you may forget about yourself in that process, right? So now that Saturn is in your first house, it's all about the karma of you. It's putting the spotlight back on you, whereas you could have really been just drowning in other responsibilities. But now it's time to take responsibility for you, Capricorn. Over the next 3 years, it's a shift that you really want to pay attention to your own goals and your own self and things that relate directly to you. So you want to take control over that overall sense of self, Capricorn. And your overall sense of self is going to karmically shift over the next 3 years, you know. So you just want to flow with that and know that your skin is shedding off in a way, whereas for this Saturn shift is going to change you entirely. I mean, you had Saturn in your 12th house, which is very, you know, I'm getting ready to talk to Aquarius about that. But you have just experienced, Sagittarius is your 12th house, right? So this was just expanding. This was very great for you. I mean, not great and maybe comfortable wise, but it was good for you to go through that, because now you're going through a first house karma. Well, for the last 3 years, whether you knew it or not, subconsciously you were thinking of karma. This was subconscious karma. It was Sagittarius, Saturn. And now what you learned subconsciously about your boundaries and about your limits and about your responsibilities, it's time to bring those things to light. Whether think about, as opposed to thinking about them subconsciously, you're going to be really, really expressing those things with authority within yourself, you know, and it may be you may be expressing these things to others as well, but first you're going to be expressing them to yourself. Now, Saturn can teach you how to defend yourself, and he helps you with your boundaries. So for any of you Capricorns out there who have struggles with that, in spite of it being your ruling planet, you know, you can be in a position here where Saturn can teach you that, to defend your boundaries, to defend yourself and your own goals and your own responsibilities. It could teach you to face these limits, these very limits and insecurities and these obstacles. This can be the very boundaries that stand between you, you know, Capricorn, you're the mountain goat. And what I just seen in my head is this mountain. I'm seeing your limits and your insecurities and your obstacles as a mountain that you need to climb, right? You're going to be climbing mountains by yourself for the next 3 years. And once you reach the top, it's about what you can see now. You know, when you're at the top of a mountain and you can look out and see everything for what it is, that's exactly the energy that I feel for you. Because you are a natural leader. You guys are the natural leaders of the zodiac wheel. You rule the 10th house of career legacy. You rule the 10th house of long-term goals. So whereas someone could come out of the woodworks and finally start thinking about their long-term goals, well, we have these Capricorns who are just born into this world knowing what they're here for, knowing what they want to do, knowing that they have to work hard and successfully reach their ambitions and their goals, right? So you really want to tap into that natural teacher that you are, Capricorn. You're such an old soul, right? You're a part of the last half of the zodiac wheel where things get a little bit mysterious, you know? So you want to take on that kind of, you know, whereas all my videos for everyone else, pardon my dog that's barking, my videos for other people, you know, I'm talking about karma and they're different in areas in their life. But for you, Capricorn, it's really about embodying that. It's really about embodying that authority figure that Saturn rules, right? Where Saturn for other people may be creating authority in other areas. But for you, I believe that since it's in your first house, everything to do with yourself, it's about you becoming that authority figure. It's about you becoming that responsible teacher. It's about you becoming and being and expressing the authority that you have over yourself and the authority that you may even have to have over others because you're in that kind of position. So you may find yourself in your careers or in your own jobs becoming a person of authority, whereas before for the younger Capricorns watching, you may have been just an assistant manager, or maybe you were just, you know, you were in some sort of lower vibration at work. Well, now that Saturn's in your first house, the authority you have is going to, it's going to get bigger. It's going to maximize and grow greater. So, you know, I feel that there's a stronger sense of authority coming over the next 3 years. Oh, and I'm sure you felt it immediately like I did. Stronger sense of authority, especially over yourself. More responsibilities. That's been a little bit stressful for me, but we got this. We are very successful and strong people. So we have to just remind ourselves of those positive traits that we have. If anybody can handle this, it's you, Capricorn. And we need you guys, you know, and I respect Sagittarius and everything that they've been going through. But, you know, no one handles this energy as good as you. You handle this authority energy very, very well because, you know, Saturn's very comfortable in your sign. So let's see here. I love this here, that you're a natural leader. You know, you're a natural teacher. You're a wise soul. You're a natural authority figure. So if you find yourself in these authority positions, in this authority, you know, type figure, just take it on with full force and responsibility. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go shut my dog up and then I will continue with your video. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to like go all authority figure on my dog. Gosh darn. See, and I just think everything happens for a reason. You really may need to embody some of that energy, you know, and it may not be a dog that you have to do it to, but it's just, you know, as I was saying, no barking, you know, like, because my dog was just consistently barking, and I do apologize if you can hear that on the video. I hate distractions, especially when I'm being serious like this. But I could not help but think of you when I was embodying this kind of authority figure, like, no barking, sit down and be quiet. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, if anybody can do this, though, like I was saying, it's you. You know, it's time for the real authority figures to rise up. Shout out Michelle Obama. She's a Capricorn. You know, a lot of these Capricorn figures may, you know, really be coming out the next 3 years because it's karmically destined for them to. Now, let's see here. Just a little bit more notes for you guys. This is very general, but these are my messages for you that I felt to spread to you. Let's see here. So, you want to be careful of limitations, Capricorn. I know you guys are ruled by Saturn, so you handle these restrictions very well. You may have a better shot at handling them than anyone else, but nonetheless, you're still not invincible to these limitations. So you want to be careful, you know, that especially because Saturn's in such an intense spot for you, whereas other people may be dealing with these restrictions and limits, you're dealing with them in a very serious place. This is you're dealing with them in the first house of self. So this can manifest in a way of self-limitations, self-restrictions, self-insecurities, self-obstacles. It can get kind of lonely. It can feel kind of, you know, pressure, and it can feel kind of like it's too much. It could feel overwhelming. You know, so you just want to be careful that you're creating your own boundaries the next 3 years, and that you're creating your own restrictions that you don't want other people, places, and things to cross, as opposed to Saturn creating them for you, because Saturn will be very harsh. Saturn's gonna, you know, cut out anything in your life that isn't, you know, up to par with you. You know, you may find yourself not really being able to bond or hang out with people who don't seem responsible. You're like, look, this is a very responsible time. Why are you not serious? Like, there's so many things to get done. Why are you not taking this seriously? You know, so you want to be careful not to self-limit yourself, because you're going to be experiencing karma firsthand, and you're going to be working for Saturn over the next 3 years direct. I think you guys are always working for Saturn, but just for now, you know, it's very important that you're not restricting yourself, because there's a lot that you got to do, Cap. Okay, so you don't want to restrict yourself, and you damn sure don't want to let other people restrict you, because they just don't have the power. They just don't have the power to do that. So you want to be creating boundaries with others. Okay, I know I've been talking about self, but this is creating boundaries with yourself and others. Okay, creating limits, you know, expressing your own boundaries, whatever they may be. We all have our own boundaries. Some of us struggle with boundaries, but you're an earth sign. You're all about action. You're all about grounded action and responsible action. So you want to, you know, just mix that in there with your own boundaries. You know, Capricorn, I have here, you're self-made. You know, you are that's a very good word for you. Self-made, self-control. This is all about being self-made. And this is all about, you know, obtaining that self-control over yourself. You are going to be your own authority. For the younger people watching, maybe a little bit, interesting. All of a sudden, you feel that you have a lot of authority over yourself. But this is not a bad thing, Capricorn. Some people have no authority over themselves. And you know what happens to them? They wind up letting everyone tell them what to do. They wind up, being bossed around and kicked around and not respected. They get the short hand of the stick. Don't sound like I'm talking to you, does it? Those cannot apply to you, especially with Saturn being in your sign. It's you who needs to rise up and tell others what to do right now, and I don't mean that like excessively, but in your career, in your relationships, in your life, it's time. There may be a lot of people who don't like you after these 3 years, but they're going to be people who don't know who you really are. You guys cannot help your destiny in the world. It is your destiny to be this person of integrity. At small children, Capricorn children are born with a sense of integrity. And you guys can intimidate people with that, because whereas other people take lifetimes to learn the sense of responsibility and hard work ethic and all of these character building things, you are born with it. You bring it with you from another life. You were chosen to be Capricorn, and you carry this energy with you. So continue to be self-made, work on that self-control, and just know that over the next 3 years, you are becoming who you're meant to be, Capricorn. You are becoming who you're meant to be, okay? And you are karma. You are the karma that people are experiencing, okay? And that's really intense, but it's who you're meant to be. Now, this is just, I didn't want these videos to be long. This is just kind of the generalized information I had for you. If this confused you, and if you didn't really understand, if you have any questions, I do recommend that you research Saturn in Capricorn. I do recommend that you research Saturn in Aries, because that's also Saturn in the first house. So you can research that, and you can find your own information about that, and maybe you'll come to some sort of better conclusion than what I was able to give you today. But this is just, what I think. This is me just channeling the universe and speaking to you. I took some notes here about what I think would happen to someone with Saturn and to Capricorn, since it's your ruling planet there. And you can always contact me. I have a Capricorn rising, so I would love to talk to some of you about, I actually do need to reach out to some of you. I've been wanting to have conversations with Capricorn. You guys are very popular right now, being it's your birthday and Saturn just moved into your sign. You probably want people to leave you the hell alone energetically. But yeah, I would love for some of you to reach out to me. We can have some pretty serious conversations, pretty responsible conversations about life and what it actually means. So comment below if you have any questions, guys. And other than that, I will speak to you in your January videos. See you later.